What's going on, people? This is Alex Thorn and
Danny Garcia.
I always like you to say your own name, man. I don't want to say it for you. But we're coming to the close of WrestleMania season. OverAF has been covering one WrestleMania per week. We started off with WrestleMania 18, Danny's choice. We moved on to WrestleMania 12 with the Iron Man match, and then WrestleMania 5 last week. This week we're going to cover WrestleMania 25, but rewinding it for just 1 second, we actually hit our March goal of 1,200 downloads with last week's podcast.
Oh yeah, thank you guys so much for helping us reach that goal. You don't know how much it means to us to have our voice heard by so many people all around the world. And your support, I mean, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and please continue to support us. And hopefully, this content that we're bringing out to you for free is entertaining you in these times, where everyone is, at quarantine at home, a lot of real life things going on. Hopefully we've really, helped you out, at least an hour or two a day. So thank you so much, guys, and we really appreciate your support.
Absolutely. The always humble Danny, giving props to the fans first.
The baby face.
The baby face of the group, right? Dude, I gotta mention it. With season 2 coming to a close here, right? Everything that's going on crazy right now, we want to do a little bit more social distancing than we have been, especially here in Illinois, because the cases have spiked up more than they have in other states in the United States. So, we got to practice it a little bit more, including us over here at OverAF. So we're going to close out season 2 with WrestleMania 36. That's going to be next week. That's 2 days in a row, man.
2 days, yeah. First time ever WrestleMania is going to be a actual weekend event. So from what we've seen, it was like 12 matches on the card. So I'm guessing they're going to split it, 6 and 6 on Saturday and Sunday.
You know what that might be for?
Yeah.
It might be because since there are no fans, like, we don't want to bore the people, so let's split it into 2 nights.
True. Yeah. I can see that.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be so long that it has to be 2 nights. It's just maybe they want to smartly be like, all right, let's do 3 hours and 3 hours.
One thing I saw, I think I mentioned it to you, was if you don't have the WWE Network and you try to rent this thing on cable, they're charging you for both nights. And it's about $100.
What?
Yes. So it's like $60 for night 1 and $40 for night 2. It's insane.
Wow.
Yes.
So they're still doing that. They're still offering that.
Yeah, they're still offering it, but that's insane. Well, the craziest thing is too, I mean, isn't it free? Right? For most new subscribers or something, you can watch it for free?
Yes, I believe so. I think when you sign up, if you're a first-time subscriber or if you've had over a year without being subscribed, I think you do get it for free.
Yeah, it's insane. Why the hell would you ever pay $100?
I don't know, man. Anybody that does that, hey, more power to you, I guess.
Yeah.
But, with talking about the current WrestleMania, it kind of brings me to that question I got to ask you every week. What's over now?
Yeah, so what's over now? Let's start with AEW. AEW, I think, in my opinion, has done the best empty arena content that I've seen. As far as the matches, as far as the promos, building people, not showing, repeats of, WrestleMania or SummerSlam moments like WWE was. But yeah, there's a new wrestler. He's come out with Jake the Snake. His name is Lance Archer. This guy, let me just tell you guys, he's going to be very, very big in the AEW. He's trying to start a program with Cody Rhodes. And how do they get him over? They put him in a squash match with a midget wrestler, and he absolutely destroys him. If you haven't seen this match, I showed Thorn the match before we got on, and the things he does to this poor kid, you gotta watch it. It's pretty funny. But it's a good way to get him over. He's going to be a star.
Well, I think I said it before. I remember him from TNA as Lance Hoyt.
Yeah.
I remember him doing some rock and roll gimmick there. And even though he was a big guy, I thought it was pretty good that he can entertain like that. Yeah. But now he looks to be so much better.
Menacing. Well, he went to Japan, and he really built his career over there as the Murder Hawk. And I mean, you pair him with Jake the Snake. And with a promo like Jake the Snake, man, I mean, look what it's done for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar can't talk for shit.
Right.
But he can go. It's the same thing. This is the same formula. You put a great talker with a great wrestler that has a great look, and it's success.
It's a good way to put over Lance. But what about Vanguard 1?
Yeah. So Jericho, the entertainer that he is, cuts a promo at his house, and Vanguard 1, which is Matt Hardy's drone, comes into the picture, and Jericho's trying to recruit him into the inner circle, and he gives him a little, inner circle shirt, puts it on, and it's pretty entertaining. You guys gotta watch it. Vanguard 1 flies away, and Jericho says, "Release the hounds," and all of Jericho's like little dogs and stuff start chasing it. It's entertaining stuff. I think they're gonna have a really good feud. It's gonna be more comedy based, obviously, because you can't take Matt Hardy serious with the shit he's doing, teleporting and stuff like that. I mean, that's not serious. But you know what? I mean, in a time like this, I don't mind a little bit of a humor.
Right now is where it makes sense.
Yeah.
And it also makes sense because Jericho is an older guy and Matt Hardy is an older guy. So they're not going to be... You can't expect them to do what they did years ago.
No.
A little bit of gaga, as they call it. Some distraction is good.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't work the same way you did when you were freaking, in your 20s. So you got to have a different style. You got to have a different style of entertaining. And I think these two guys are going to do it right.
The other thing I saw from this week was The Undertaker. Yeah. Now, you told me he said something that I didn't see because I only saw the YouTube version of his promo since I don't watch Raw.
Right.
Or really the current product. But what was going on with that?
So... Apparently, there's some heat on him because he cut a promo on AJ Styles and he was talking about, you didn't come in, you came in at a time where the Rock and Stone Cold and all these people are retired, and I guess it rubbed a lot of the locker room the bad way, basically saying like, well, there's no stars here, like you kind of buried the locker room, so there supposedly some heat on him for that, but I mean, get over it. He's the Undertaker. He can say whatever the hell he wants.
Well, it's not just the Undertaker, but it's American Badass Undertaker.
Right, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, he came out with the American Badass gimmick, which I don't mind. I don't mind for this.
This should have been done about 3 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
After he got beat by Brock Lesnar, should have took some time off and then came back as American Badass.
I agree. Yeah. I think the American Badass is going to be a better fit for this feud than just regular Undertaker, It's more of who he is.
It's more of who he is, and at this point, the other gimmick has taken its course. And it's, honestly, the Dead Man gimmick got buried at WrestleMania when he got beat.
Right.
That was it for that time. So it's perfect. It's a little late, but, we're all here for it. We're still going to accept it. And that kind of leads us into next week's podcast, which is WrestleMania 36. And we just saw an upload that they did to the WWE Network called WrestleMania Theater. And, dude, I mean, that's exactly what you said they were going to do for WrestleMania 36.
I told you, man. I mean, I should be a booker. I should be a producer. So I told you this a long time ago. That's the way to do it, man. You've seen it, how the way that they filmed it, just like a movie. That's the way you have to film this WrestleMania. In order to make it different, in order to make it something that nobody's ever seen before, and entertaining, guys, if you get a chance, watch that. Watch the WrestleMania Theater, and you're going to see what I meant by the way that they should film it. And just let us know what you think about that format. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, they've been doing it that way since, from what I know, since WrestleMania 19. Because I don't know if you remember, on the DVD for WrestleMania 19, they had an extra that was called WrestleMania the Movie.
Yeah.
And it was like an hour-long film-like looking WrestleMania. And it's exactly what they're doing now at every single WrestleMania. They just don't release it all the time.
Right.
But I think that's what we're going to see for this pay-per-view. I think you were right.
Yeah, I would love that. I think it's the right way to go. Because if you film this like you just did Raw and SmackDown, that's not WrestleMania, man. That's not WrestleMania. It has to be different. WrestleMania has always been different. Different costumes, different stage, different lighting, everything. You have to make it different. It has to be the greatest spectacle, how they say, right, of the year. That's the way you have to do it. Because... also in the time too, like you want to be able to sell those DVDs or whatever, sell those subscriptions and have that content like catch people's eyes. If it looks like Raw or SmackDown, people are not gonna know what the hell this is. Like, wow, what is this?
Yeah, absolutely. I
can just see this on Raw and SmackDown. It's got to be different.
And now we're gonna go over to WrestleMania 25, man. I had stopped watching completely by this time. And when I first initially saw this pay-per-view, I didn't see it live. I saw it live, but not at my home.
Right.
I was bored at home, and I just wanted to get out. And so I was like, let me walk around and see if any bars close to me are playing WrestleMania, and one was. I walked in around, I believe, the Hardy match.
Okay.
And so I saw it from there on, and I was surprised at how good the WrestleMania was. But the emotion I had then, it still stands rewatching this pay-per-view today. And there's 2 matches on this pay-per-view that greatly disappoint, and we'll get into that later on. But even when I saw it the first time live, I was like, wow, those were really not 2 good matches. Seeing it now, so many years later, it's over a decade more later, 11 years later, it still feels that way. Yeah. So this pay-per-view, the 25th anniversary, was being held in Houston, Texas at the Reliance Stadium in front of 72,000 people. And the look, the blue star-studded look for this event is amazing. It's awesome. It starts off with a Money in the Bank ladder match, which I believe that was starting off WrestleMania for a few years, right?
Yeah.
In this match, we had Shelton Benjamin, MVP, Mark Henry, Kofi Kingston, Kane, Finlay with Hornswoggle, Christian, and CM Punk. This match goes 14 minutes. What'd you think of it, man?
It was okay. It's just a lot of botched moves, man. I mean, it was a lot of botched moves. There was a few that notable ones. The one where Christian goes for the Unprettier off the top of the ladder and completely misses. Mm-hmm. You know, CM Punk falls weird. Another one was a powerbomb attempt from the top between Shelton Benjamin and I believe it was MVP. I think the reason MVP didn't fall was because the ropes were so close. So what I think is that the ladder was way too close to the ropes. So he says, "Fuck that! I'm not gonna fall." Right. So he fell forward, and then he let Benjamin powerbomb him out of the ring. Yeah. Another Benjamin jumps off the top of the ladder.
Oh my God! He looked like he was gonna die.
He looked like he was gonna break his neck.
Yep.
Like you were saying, I believe that Christian probably should have won that match just because of the crowd reaction. Yeah. Like you were saying, you know, he was going up to the top of the ladder, and the fans were going crazy. The shot that they filmed was really cool. They showed him going up, and then they showed the fans in the background. And everybody was standing up. So, but CM Punk won. You know, it is what it is. It was a good match.
Yeah. Before we ever pressed record, I was talking to Danny earlier. And we were just sharing some thoughts on the pay-per-view, and I told him I didn't think it was the right move to make CM Punk win. I understand that he had, you know, some hype in WWE from winning the previous year, but my God, the crowd was so hype every time Christian climbed that ladder and looked like he was going to win. And this is after his TNA run. So he was already looked at as a top guy. Right? In WWE previously, he was only known to be mid-carder. Starting to climb, had a great series of matches with Randy Orton before he left, and then came back here, and the crowd loves him. They now know that he can be somebody you can push. Yep. And I think, you know, it's a good match, even with all the botches. It's an entertaining, you know, clustering way to begin WrestleMania, but I think the wrong man went over, and CM Punk should have been Christian.
Yeah, as far as like with crowd reaction and everything, I think Christian would have been the better move. I mean, CM Punk wasn't as popular as he was going to get at the time. Even his look was, like you said, was just
he was doughy, dude. He looked soft. He looked doughy. He didn't look like he belonged in there.
He looked like Jericho.
Yeah, but Jericho looks like, you know, Jericho looks aged and kind of fatter now. Yeah. But this guy just looked like he wasn't taking his diet seriously or his gym routine seriously at all. And I get it. That's who Punk is. And he would rise to be the biggest wrestling superstar for about a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in this case, I still maintain that he should have.
At this point in time.
Yeah,
he wasn't yet the CM Punk we know. Yeah. But at this point in time, I think you're right that I think Christian would have been the better move. But, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, from there, we've got a performance by Kid Rock. It's almost as if Vince McMahon grasps onto music artist 5, 6, 7 years after they're popular. Yeah. Right?
Like, well, he gets them at a discount. That's why, bro. It's like going to a Five Below or the dollar store, you know what I mean? Like, you get discount.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Well, good point, man. Good point. But yeah, I know Kid Rock was not the shit at this time. He was definitely somebody in 2000, 2001, but in 2009, there was no news about Kid Rock. And, he was the theme song, right, for WrestleMania 25.
And the theme song for Taker for a while, right?
Yeah, he was. He was. Not here, but yeah, back when I said 2000, 2001, American Badass. He does his intro music, and then followed by the entrances for the first ever Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal with Mae Young as the special timekeeper. You got 25 women in there. The match goes 7 minutes and 25 seconds, and this is not when women were taken seriously in the WWE.
No, not at all. I mean, it's kind of an embarrassment if you think about it. The way that the women's evolution is, going on now. You know what I mean? Like, where you have Becky Lynch, Rousey, and Flair actually main event. Like, this was like a throwaway match. This is something you see now on the pre-show.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what, though? I was so surprised because, again, this event, took place 11 years ago. I was surprised to see the names in there that I did. You've got Alicia Fox, the Bellas, which I didn't even know the Bellas were there 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. Eve Torres, Gail Kim, I didn't know she was there.
Yeah.
Is this post TNA?
No.
This is before TNA.
Before TNA.
Wow.
She never went back. As soon as she left, she never came back. She didn't come back to WWE.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah. Once she left, she was gone.
You've got Jackie Gata, who's, my God, she was misused because she was gorgeous. Jillian Hall, Joey Giovanni, Katie Lee Burchill, Kelly, who keeps on being brought back now as something. Maria, who's been used on and off and unfortunately not used well this last run that she had there. Maurice, who was always really good. Melina, who was gorgeous and she did great. Michelle McCool, constant athlete, man.
Yeah.
She's great as well.
Mrs. Undertaker.
Mickie James. Again, I was surprised to see her there 11 years ago.
Yeah.
I thought she was gone by this time. Molly Holly. What was she doing there?
Don't know.
Right? Natalia. I didn't know she was there that long ago. Rosa Mendez. I don't know why she's there in the first place.
Yep. Sunny was in there.
Sunny, who had just got inducted to the Hall of Fame the previous night.
Yep.
They didn't make any big deal about her coming out here. One bit. She was just one of the girls. Tiffany, which is Taryn Terrell. You got Tori Wilson. And, of course, the person who belongs in the Hall of Fame right now, Victoria.
Chicago's own.
Absolutely. But, yeah, there's somebody else who's in this, and they're the winners. Why don't you run that down for us, man?
This is unbelievable. I mean, you want to talk about burying the women's division? You got Santino dressed as a woman winning the Battle Royal. What does that say about what you think of women wrestlers? What does that say? Tell me. What do you think that says?
No, it just says you're not good enough. That it's a joke.
He doesn't touch anybody. You notice he didn't touch none of the girls.
Yeah, it's a joke that you can still be beat out by a man, and the women's division is a joke. So we're gonna put a man in women's clothes and make him win.
Yeah,
it's what it says to me. But here's the other deal. It's still going on today, and they don't even know it.
Yeah. Well, didn't they do it last time when they did the Battle Royal? He came back in, remember?
He came back in, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm saying not only is a man winning the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal here, but in today's world, you've got Becky Lynch, who is nicknamed The Man. Yeah. And she's the women's champion, and they constantly refer to her as The Man. Yeah. They're one way or another, and a lot of fans don't see it. It's
like subliminal, bro. Yeah.
Telling you that you're still not good enough because they involve men or man in something that women do.
That is a great point. I've never seen it that way. Now, but now that you talk about it, that's really interesting.
To me, it's really insulting.
I'm surprised that they haven't really talked about that. Like saying that, you're right. It's like, oh, who's the champion? The man is. Yeah. The man is the women's champion. Why?
One way or another, whether you believe it or not, they're constantly putting down women, even though they make it seem like they're showcasing women.
Right. They're really not.
They're really not.
They're really not, because Vince will never see them as a main attraction.
No.
Never.
Well, anyway, like he said, Santina Morella takes it home, and following that, this is one of the star points, man. This is one of the great exceptions in this WrestleMania. You've got the handicap elimination match featuring Jimmy Snuka, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Roddy Piper, accompanied by Ric Flair, taking on Chris Jericho, who had went through like his fourth evolution at this point.
Yeah.
He's got the whole very serious talking down to the crowd deal. He looks like Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi, at this time. He takes the Nick Bockwinkel role.
Yeah.
Here, right? He's very eloquent, very slow talking. He doesn't do any of the mannerisms that you've known him for, right? He doesn't put out his hands to the side.
Yep.
He doesn't do all of that ever again stuff.
Yep.
He completely abandons everything you know him for, including the way he dressed.
Yeah.
Right? His in-ring attire changed completely as well. I was proud of Jericho at this time. Even though I'm not a big Jericho fan, I was proud of what he did for himself.
It was great. It was phenomenal. And then I love the build-up to this. He was just beating up all these Hall of Famers. You know, he stuffed a banana down Jimmy Snuka's mouth, which is crazy. Kind of like what Piper did. Obviously, hits him with the coconut and stuff. But he beats them all up. Ric Flair's there, too, by the way. Forgot to mention.
Yeah.
He punches Ric Flair in a promo.
Now, remember, Flair's retired the
Yeah.
previous year at
So he can't
WrestleMania
wrestle.
24.
Right, he can't wrestle. If not, he would have been in this match, too.
Of course.
Yeah. He would have been in this match, too. But Jericho kicks his ass. It's a really good storyline. I liked it.
But it's all because of what? Not only the legends, but then Mickey Rourke gets involved.
Right.
And the wrestler gets involved, the movie. One of the things that supposedly was going to happen was it was supposed to be Jericho versus Rourke.
Right.
And Hollywood said to Rourke, if you involve yourself in pro wrestling, you're not going to get the offers on the roles that you're currently getting.
Right.
Right? It's going to lower your stock. And that pissed off WWE.
Yeah.
So that's why this match was born. It was originally supposed to be Rourke and Jericho. And it had to get changed to 3 legends versus Jericho.
Right. But Rourke's still involved with it. I mean, he's at WrestleMania. So. But
yeah, absolutely. He's just not like in the ring.
He's not in the ring.
Until the end, at least.
Right. But great match, man. I thought, well, let's talk about Steamboat's performance in this match at his age. Bro, he went hard. He was really, really good. He's the star of the match.
He is, absolutely.
Unbelievable. I mean, you know, you got Piper and you got Snuka, which were, I mean, they were done, dude.
They were absolutely
I mean,
done.
Piper coming out like he's got a freaking fake hip or whatever he's
yeah,
got.
Piper can barely walk.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. Piper can barely move. And also, Piper's midsection at this point is so big. It almost seems like it's throwing him off balance because he's so, he's got that hard midsection. He keeps the shirt on throughout the entire match.
Good idea, yeah. Great
idea. And then you've got Snuka, who looks like if the wind blows too hard, he's going to get knocked over.
Yeah.
Right? Everything
frail.
he did was just
frail.
Stiff and frail.
Yeah.
But then you've got Steamboat. That looked like he put on some pounds, but holy shit, did he not slow down one bit.
He didn't slow down. He's like the Ricky Steamboat of old, man.
Of old, man.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a performance.
Yeah.
Also, Jericho did what he had to do with these legends. He let them get their shine. I was so proud of that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was his call as well to let them shine.
You have to. Yeah.
Because by no means should Piper or Steamboat, I'm sorry, Snuka should have they gotten any offense on Jericho the condition they were in.
Yep.
But he let them.
And
that was perfect.
Yeah. And obviously, he comes out on top, which is the right move. I mean, come on.
Right, especially because the next month, we got to see Steamboat versus Jericho.
One-on-one, yeah. Which is another good match. It wasn't as good as this one, but it was okay.
Right, well, he had to take it all on his own. That's hard,
Yeah. But Jericho did a really good job, man, and working with these guys. And, it was a great match. Mickey Rourke gets involved at the end, which was kind of weird. The interaction was just kind of weird. But,
it was very awkward.
Oh, my God, Piper, Jesus. Wow.
Now, remember, we just watched Piper, in WrestleMania 5 last week. That's the last time we saw him. And that was 1989. We're talking about 2009.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, he can barely move.
Yeah, 20 years later.
Wow. But it's a great story. It's a great moment.
Absolutely.
I liked it. And then we got Nature Boy. I think Nature Boy's older than all of them. He looks better than all of them.
Right. Yeah, Steamboat was absolutely impressive in this match at 56 years old. He did amazing compared to the other two guys.
Yeah.
And that's that, Jimmy Snuka was still doing matches on the indie scene.
He was.
Piper was still doing matches on the indie scene somewhat. He had also had returns throughout all the years, kept wrestling after Steamboat.
Yeah.
Steamboat legit was done in, 94?
Yeah.
And never came back.
Never came back.
He did guest referee spots and stuff.
Exactly. And he worked for the company for a while as I think an agent.
Yeah, so he probably had some in-ring, training while he was training the younger stars, but he wasn't working matches, that's for sure.
Who better to learn from, man, than a guy like this guy?
Yeah, absolutely. If you needed to learn how to be a babyface.
Oh, yeah.
And how to be
proficient,
him and Sting.
Yeah, those would be the guys that'll teach you.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, that's another guy when we talk about people that could never be heels. Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat.
He actually pitched it, apparently. He pitched it to be a heel.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was listening to on a podcast, I believe it was What Happened When? No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It was Something to Wrestle With. Mm-hmm. Because they were asking, hey, what's the opinion on Ricky Steamboat? And was he hard to work with? He goes, well, take a look at his career. Every time things didn't go his way, he left.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, he's right. Because he left. Well, not necessarily because the reason he left WWE was, I believe, because he was having his son or something.
He wanted some home time.
Which, I mean.
But you ask for home time after you've been given the Intercontinental title.
Right.
That doesn't look good for you.
Right. Exactly. And then that's what happened.
So he left there, right? He goes to WWE, becomes a heavyweight champion, loses the title, and gets told, you're going to be demoted to, mid-card level. He leaves, comes back to WWE as the Dragon.
Yeah.
He gets told he's going to have like a heavyweight title run there, never moves past, has one pay-per-view match, and never moves past mid-card status, if not opening card.
Right.
Leaves, goes back to WCW. But there, he had some really great matches. He was Intercontinental Champion. He was U.S. Champion.
Yeah.
He was TV Champion. He had a couple matches with Flair again.
Yep.
And obviously there he left because he got injured and couldn't go on anymore.
Right.
But for most parts in his career, he was kind of Warrior-esque, where when things didn't go his way, it wasn't necessarily money.
Yeah.
It was, as Jim Ross likes to say, it's always either cash or creative. It was always creative for Steamboat.
Right, but that's the thing. It was different because he was hard to work with the upper management. He wasn't hard to work with the wrestlers.
Right.
That's the big difference. Warrior was fucking hard to work with everyone. Okay? So that's the big difference. And it's understandable, man. I mean, obviously you want the best for your career, right? So, yeah, he probably stood up for himself, and, that's what happens sometimes. But
so why do you look at him as, he stood up for himself versus Warrior? Like, he was money hungry.
Well, because like I said, he was doing it more for... Warrior was like that with the actual wrestlers, too. So, on his way up, he was trying to bury people, too.
I disagree.
I don't know. He's no Hogan, that's all I know.
Ooh, I got something to tell you after this. Oh, boy. We gotta have a conversation.
Leave that for, what is it, OverAF After Dark or some shit. That's it.
Absolutely. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Chris Jericho goes over in 8 minutes and 33 seconds. Absolute joy of a match. Afterwards, there is interaction with Ric Flair, who gets the code breaker, and then followed by a very weird and off-putting interaction with Mickey Rourke. He gets, I guess, some boxing punches to Jericho and knocks him out. It doesn't look good.
No.
From there, we go on to the brother versus brother match. A match that somewhat, to me, feels late, but it is good.
Yeah,
Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in an Extreme Rules match. Up to this point, I did not remember that Jeff Hardy was the heavyweight champion right up to Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. And the heavyweight title matches that we have later on in the night would have been Jeff Hardy.
I agree.
And instead, they took it off of him, completely changed course, and gave him this match with his brother Matt. This is all, based off of Jeff Hardy as a star.
Yeah.
He's, been pushed, while Matt Hardy is the mediocre one living in the shadow. He's the Jannetty.
Right.
Right? All this stuff. But what a great build-up not only for the packages, but what happened. His house burned down.
Right.
His dog died. He also had that pyro accident on the stage. There was a bunch of stuff happening to him. All for Matt Hardy to say it was all me.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Right. Exactly. It was. Yeah, and it was a good match, man. But as we will see, the wrong guy won.
Yeah, absolutely.
The wrong guy won.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jeff Hardy is the star. He's the star. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. But the match itself was really, really good. A lot of high spots. Things that you're gonna expect from Team Extreme. What their staple was, which was ladders and tables and all that extreme stuff. Even the way that Matt Hardy wins, it's pretty badass. He hits him with the what is his finisher? I forgot. Twist of Fate. Twist of Fate with his neck on the chair was pretty badass.
Right. But something I wanted to add is very similar to the Bret Hart Owen Hart matches. This match has a lot of heat in build-up, but the match itself doesn't exactly feel like there's hate there.
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you're telling me, this guy burned his house down, he did all these things, like you'd want to kill him.
It doesn't feel that way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I felt back then with Bret Hart and Owen Hart is like, yeah, they have good matches, but it just feels like a good match. It doesn't feel like what the story dictates is these two guys want to kill each other.
Yeah, because they really don't.
Because they really don't.
Not many people can do that. I think that's why Bret and Shawn worked really well because they really hated each other.
Yeah, right.
So that was more believable.
Yeah, you can't feel tension in this match.
No.
Even though it's a good match, there's lots of good high spots for a highlight video. As a match, watching it, it feels like two guys cooperating with each other.
It's like that when they were wrestling in their backyard.
Right.
They're just like having a match against each other.
Exactly. But as you mentioned, the wrong guy won. Matt Hardy goes over in this match in 13 minutes, and I'm sorry, he's not the star. He's not the one that should be going over in a match of this magnitude.
Just look at Jeff Hardy's look. Look at the face paint. Look at the gear he's wearing. I mean, that's something that you can market. That's going to sell toys. That's going to sell T-shirts. Matt Hardy looks just like a default fucking WWE 2K20 wrestler. And
he debuts new attire here.
Yeah.
Right? It's the first time and one of the only times you see Matt Hardy actually using tights instead of using pants.
But he just looks so...
He looks default. He looks like a creative character default.
With the chin strap. I mean, he just... Oh, my God.
After that, we've got the 22nd Intercontinental Championship match between JBL and Rey Mysterio. Bro, the amount of time it took for JBL to get to that fucking ring, because he was cutting a promo all the way to it. Yeah. And then he cut a promo before as well where he was antagonizing the crowd. It was just exhausting. And honestly, like as I mentioned it before, I stopped watching in 2004, 5 years prior to this, WWE. Along with Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, JBL is just one of those guys that I just don't care to watch.
Yeah.
And he just took so long here. He's taking on Rey Mysterio, who comes out looking like the Joker. He looks awesome.
Yeah.
But the match lasts 20 seconds, and after that, JBL quits WWE, and it is his official quitting. This is his last match.
This is his last match, yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess this is a way to put over Mysterio and kind of giving fans what they wanted, which is him to lose. Everybody hated him.
Right.
What better way to give the fans he got fucking beat in 20 seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think it was the right move. Yeah. It was just, wow, JBL just is not that guy.
He's a Hall of Famer this year. So apparently they think very highly of him.
Of course, he's one of the backstage guys.
I love
up there.
I love when they were doing the ECW angle and Paul Heyman told him, the only reason you're champion is because Triple H doesn't want to work on Thursdays. Remember? Fucking wasn't wrong.
I wouldn't disagree with it.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Because didn't they transfer over? I remember back then. Yeah. They did put Triple H on SmackDown, and it lasted 1 week.
Yep.
And he was right back on Raw. Like, it was one of those weird things where it's like, yeah, you're right. Go back over there.
Yep.
You don't want to be here.
You don't want to be here.
Right. So what do we got next, man? The match that this pay-per-view is defined by.
This is it.
Coming down from the heavens, you got Shawn Michaels. Coming up from hell, you got The Undertaker. It is the match that Shawn Michaels wishes was his last match.
Yep. It should have been.
He always mentions that he was driving home after this and said, think that should have been it. That was the perfect ending.
That was it.
we've got The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in a WrestleMania defining match.
Classic. A classic. We were watching the second one on the theater, and it wasn't as good as this one. It just wasn't.
Well, you know what?
There's not much more you can do.
There's not much more you can do, and they tried to play off of the first one, right? It's very hard when you have something so good to try to replicate it or beat it. But also, one of the things is that 1 year later, Shawn Michaels was a lot more limited for whatever reason.
Yeah.
The road, the matches he had in between WrestleMania 25 and WrestleMania 26 had really taken a toll on him. And he really did, by WrestleMania 26, turned into like this Ric Flair chopping only guy.
Right.
And he was limited.
It was a different match.
Yeah.
It was a different match. This should have been the end. It was. I mean, the two of the best that have ever done it. The chemistry was perfect. The spots where you thought that the match was over were perfect. You got the fans going crazy. I mean, it was. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's one of the top 3, I think, WrestleMania matches of all time.
I would absolutely put it there.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of the top 3. And that's I'm very old school about mine. But these two guys, it just doesn't get better.
It doesn't get better, man.
It does not get better in WrestleMania history than this match. It's arguably one of the top 3, right?
I think it's this. I would say it's probably this generation's best match. Because if I think about it, if you're gonna show, let's say, 3 matches, one from the 80s, one from the 90s, and one from the 2000s, right? I would say this one will be the one I would show from the 2000s.
Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. It may not be the last decade, but the 2000 through 2010 era, this is it.
Right. Exactly.
Because you'd have to go back all the way. And there's great matches there, but you'd have to go back to WrestleMania 15. And between 15 and 25, I take this match over all of those matches.
Absolutely. Without a question.
Yeah.
Without a question. And no gimmicks needed.
None.
No, it was a wrestling match. Sure, they did some things outside the ring and everything, but everything mostly was all done in ring. Shawn looked great, man.
Shawn did look good.
Phenomenal. He even worked a lot of some of his older heel tactics, like, selling the knee, pretending he was hurt and then jumping on Undertaker. That was a great spot.
When I reviewed this, obviously I know it was a great match, right? And it's been a few years since I've seen it. But this time watching it, I was like, wow, I really can see why people thought, Undertaker might lose. There were moments there where you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Is Shawn going to take it?
Yeah. There was, and there's not a lot of matches that you feel that way. A lot of matches who's going to win and lose,
Right.
You already know. But this one was like, oh shit, like, could he break the streak? Like, if anybody was going to do it, it'd be him.
Absolutely, man.
So, but phenomenal match, man. I mean, it's hard to describe all the spots. You just got to watch it and appreciate it.
It's just, there's certain matches that don't deserve false finishes.
Yep.
Right? They have false finishes and you're like, this is so unnecessary. Like, just stop. This is one of those matches where every single false finish meant something. It took your breath away. You thought it was inches from, being over. Either guy could have won, and either guy, when they won, it would have been right.
Yep.
If Shawn Michaels ended the streak here, it would have been fine.
No problem.
When The Undertaker beats Shawn Michaels, that's okay too.
Yep.
Now, here's what I was talking about, man. The last 2 matches of this pay-per-view, they're both heavyweight championship matches. You got the World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat with John Cena, Big Show, and Edge. This is the one that was supposed to have Jeff Hardy if they didn't, change courses. You've got the whole Vicky Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero storyline with Big Show. To me, it's really, really weird. But this match and the preceding match with Triple H and Randy Orton, they just don't hold up.
No. They're not. I don't know, man. Just Big Show's one of those guys that just doesn't do it for me, bro. Like, he's just so... And it's sad because he's such a big dude. But the way that they use him is just so... I don't know, man.
And when they bring him out of nowhere just to use him. And this is one of those cases. He had he had nothing to do with heavyweight championship matches prior to this. Nothing. But then all of a sudden, he was working for Vicky Guerrero, and John Cena gets involved out of nowhere. Edge has got this love triangle thing going on. To me, it's just not a good match.
Wasn't a good. The only thing I could say about this match that's entertaining is Cena picking Big Show and Edge up at the same time for the attitude adjustment.
Right,
that's fucking power. Dude.
Yeah, it's power. But let's say outside of that one little spot, is there anything interesting about the story and or the match?
Nothing else.
There's nothing there.
It was just so blah.
And we go from a blah build-up and a blah match to something that actually has great... John Cena, of course.
Okay.
Right, John Cena takes it home, and I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
But we go from a match that is very blah and a build-up that's blah to a match that has an amazing build-up, but then the match itself becomes blah, just like the previous match.
So it's one of those things, just like the Matt and Jeff Hardy match, where at least that one had Extreme Rules, so they can hit each other with chairs and stuff like that. This one, Randy Orton has done so much shit to Triple H. He's kissed Stephanie. He's done all this stuff to him.
No, he's punted both Shane and Vince McMahon.
Yep.
He's given an RKO and a DDT to Stephanie McMahon, plus kissed her in the mouth right in front of Triple H.
Yep.
Triple H busts into Randy Orton's home, supposedly.
Right.
Tears him up, takes him apart, all this stuff. This match has all of the heat you want for a match. All of the emotion. It's personal. It involves family. It involves backstory because of Evolution. Every single element is there. And it's made to be a regular one-on-one match.
Yeah. Triple H can't do anything because he'll get disqualified. Do you think I would care if somebody did that to me to get disqualified in a match? It should have been a fucking no-holds-barred fucking brawl everywhere. He should have been kicking his ass all over the ring.
Absolutely.
All over the, going into the crowd, taking him to the back like a total ass whooping for somebody that just made it personal.
Absolutely. And at this point, too, what I want to mention is the Shawn Michaels Undertaker match goes 30 minutes, bell to bell.
Yep.
Okay? The next match went 14 minutes. Even though it wasn't interesting, it was nice and short. This match goes 24 minutes, and you just want to tap out after 3 to 4 minutes.
It's a snooze fest.
Because they hit their finishes early.
Yep.
Within the first 2 minutes of the match, both the pedigree and the RKO are hit. But it keeps going, and it keeps going. And every time you want it to end, it doesn't end. And that's the difference with the Undertaker-Shawn match and this match. Every time you thought it was going to end, it didn't. And you were taken aback like, oh my God. Every time you wanted this match to end, it didn't, and you were like, "Can you hurry up and end?"
Can you hurry up? It's very hard to get invested into this match, just because, like I said, the stipulations and the way this match is set up.
Towards the end of the match, again, I get in wrestling, terminology. Orton would want to take away the ability for Triple H to not brawl and take out the sledgehammer. He does end up taking it out, but it's so flat when he does it.
Yeah.
The people don't even pop when he gets his hands on the sledgehammer. When he hits him with the sledgehammer, it doesn't even happen.
No.
The crowd doesn't care. And then, not only after he hits him with the sledgehammer, right, he beats him up and then does the pedigree, and the crowd is just looking at it like, oh, it's over? Oh, okay.
Finally.
Yeah.
For WrestleMania main event, you want everybody standing up. You want people crying and babies being tossed in the air.
Yeah.
And this ain't it. This is like let us beat traffic.
And I think it comes down to, again, they corrected it the next year when they made Shawn and Undertaker.
Yeah.
Right?
You had to.
They made them the main event, so they corrected that. Overall, man, I enjoyed this WrestleMania outside of the last two matches. I love the look, the blue look of the WrestleMania.
Oh, beautiful lighting.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
It looks like a WrestleMania should look. Who would you say is over AF out of this pay-per-view?
Oh, I'm gonna say Shawn Michaels, man. I'm gonna say Shawn Michaels is the highlight here. I mean, obviously, the Undertaker is in the match too, but Shawn Michaels was unbelievable.
Yeah, exactly. I'd go with Shawn as well. To be honest with you, it's a close tie with Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy got massive pop.
He did
that night.
If he would have won, I would have said it would have been closer, but.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Jeff.
Really?
I think Jeff was more, just a tad hair more over than Shawn Michaels at this pay-per-view.
Okay. Oh, before we continue, just a couple questions on predictions. Let's predict before, because obviously when we record, it's going to be after what we watched. But let's do a little bit of take some time to do some predictions on the matches, who's going to win, and what do you think about, different scenarios. So let's start with The Fiend against Cena. Who do you got going there?
I mean, I definitely don't think that Cena's going to want to go over. I think even if they approached him to go over, he would say, no, let's put over The Fiend.
Okay.
With him taking the loss to Goldberg, I think Fiend is going to go over.
I think you're wrong, and I'm going to go with John Cena.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because he's John Cena. And I just think at a time now, like, if you would have told me this... okay. Yeah, if you would have told me this before all this happened, I would have said absolutely The Fiend's going to win. But the rumor is that after WrestleMania, they're going to go on a hiatus for a while. That's the rumor. So what I'm thinking is Cena is going to win that match. And Vince is going to want the kids to go,
go home happy.
Go home happy, even though they're already home. But, you know what I mean? Like, the kids that watch John Cena, all right, he won. We can't wait for it to come back. Maybe John Cena's going to come back. So the last thing they'll see of John Cena will be a positive thing of him winning. You know what I mean? Oh, we want to see more of that. Who's this John Cena? You know what I mean? Like maybe new people that are not really watching wrestling, but now since everybody's at home, hey, let's give this a try. Let's give wrestling a try. Oh, John Cena, we know him from the movies. He's gonna lose? No way, dude.
Wow.
Think about that.
I mean, you could be right. That's a good prediction on that one.
All right.
What match you got next? What is it?
How about Goldberg? Obviously, he's not gonna fight Reigns, right?
Yeah, if you've been paying attention to any rumor mill at all, the news is that Reigns pulled out of WrestleMania for fears of the COVID-19 thing going on right now. He has a compromised immune system because of leukemia. Totally 100% understandable.
Yeah.
And there are rumors of who Goldberg is going to wrestle.
Yeah.
And that's Braun Strowman. And if that takes place, I still say you keep the title on Goldberg. You have
to. I mean, Braun has not been the most liked person lately. Right. Obviously he's been on Twitter and talking a lot of stuff, and it's rubbed people the wrong way. It's another thing as well. It's like Goldberg's a known name, and in times like this, you want to have the popular guys be the face of your company. Yeah. Somebody watching Braun Strowman for the first time, right? I mean, they're not going to know who the hell this guy is. I mean, obviously they're watching for the first time, but I mean, it's like they're not going to know who he is. Like, if they'll know Goldberg. Goldberg's popular. Yeah. Absolutely. But Braun, I don't know, man. I just think, and this is all on Vince. I just think this is Vince's mind, what he's thinking. I just think that it's better if Goldberg keeps the belt, and then when they come back, you can have that Reigns versus Goldberg match.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So
I agree with you 100% on that one. Especially because they've been so stop and start with Braun. Yeah. It would be horrible to put Goldberg down to Braun at this point.
You can't.
At this point. If Braun was strong, if Braun had been being put over constantly and, made to look like somebody, then I'd say, yeah, you can go with Braun because there's so many things you could do with him. But WWE has proven themselves that they don't know what to do with Braun Strowman.
They don't know what to do with him.
And they quite frankly, they may not care about him as much. So no, you don't put over Braun Strowman if that's who Goldberg is going to face. So I think Goldberg retains on that one.
Yeah.
Undertaker and AJ Styles.
Taker's winning that.
Now remember last time I said Styles is winning.
Yeah.
Right? But I think I'm going to change my prediction now.
Because when he said he's bringing an unholy trinity with him, I'm thinking it's going to be Kane. And probably Michelle McCool, maybe his wife, because obviously AJ's been talking a lot of smack to her. So I think, there's no way I think AJ Styles wins that match.
Yeah, I think in front of a live crowd, then if he was going against the dead man, yes, I'd put over AJ Styles. But going against American Badass and like you mentioned earlier with John Cena and the positive image, I think Undertaker goes over.
100%. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, those are the three big matches.
Wait, Edge and Orton.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Left out one more match, Edge and Orton. Well, I think Edge is going over.
I think Orton's going to go over.
Why is that?
I just think that, if Edge goes over, the story's over. I just think that this is going to continue. I just think it's going to be a thing where maybe...
Well, wait. If Edge goes over, the story's not over because Orton could come out for revenge. It can keep going.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. All right. This is just my prediction. I think that it's going to come to a stop where Edge is about to really seriously hurt Randy Orton, and he's gonna change his mind. He's gonna feel like, damn, this isn't me, and then Randy Orton's just gonna strike and fucking hit him out of nowhere and beat him like that because he hesitated. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He hesitates. He's gonna smash his head with a chair. Then he lets his guard down. Orton hits him with the RKO or something and pins him just because Edge hesitated.
I might recommend your name to some indie feds.
I'm telling you, man. Hey, man, I got the wrestling mind, dude. I've seen it all.
Yeah,
I've seen it all. So those are my predictions. So we're going with, let's recap that. So first match, which one was it?
I'm going with Fiend. You're going with Cena.
Okay, so Fiend and Cena. And then the next one was Goldberg and Braun.
Yeah.
So I'm picking Goldberg, obviously.
Yeah, I'm going with Goldberg as well.
Okay, next is Taker and Styles. We're both
going with Taker.
With Taker. And then you're going with Edge.
I'm going with Edge. But I don't think I think you can repair a loss like that to Orton. Mm-hmm. Orton just keeps going.
I guess.
Man, with that being said, we already put out our predictions for WrestleMania 36, which is happening over Saturday and Sunday. Not only that, it is our last episode of the season. We're going to take a little bit of a hiatus after that. During that time is going to be a great period for you as you're home, as we all are. COVID-19 is kind of ruling our lives, to go back into the archives of OverAF, which we will be posting. Become a subscriber to our YouTube, please. Add us on Twitter at OverAFpod. Again, if you have a business, you've got 1 week left to be added to have free podcasting advertisement, because as long as the shows are up, your business is being advertised. And email us over at overafpod@yahoo.com. WrestleMania 36 is going to be different, but we're ready.
Can't wait.
I am Alex Thorn. For Danny Garcia, we are OverAF.